So, Pyra slash Mythra, what did you do to get invited into Smash? Nothing illegal, I hope. And new stage, new music, yes. And some stuff about... Oh, okay. If you played Persona 5 Strikers on this console, okay, well, yeah. I have the PS4 version. This is not something that I was planning on talking about in this video, but, I saw some comparisons, and the Switch load times were kind of terrible, so, yeah. I kind of wish there was a Sophia Spirit battle, actually. I still don't know why they remind you about packs available for purchase that you've already bought. The Aegis from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which makes her, in my opinion, one of the most canonically powerful characters to be playable in Smash. I mean, there is Palutena, but if you know Pyra and Mythra's actual role in the universe of Xenoblade 2, they're some of the most powerful characters in this game. So anyway, I want to check out their shared destinies. Interesting. I want to check their, Oh, and you can choose which one to start as, kind of like there were ways to do that for Zelda and Sheik in the early ones. I thought you'd have a chance to do that. So I want to check out their color palettes. I have not actually looked at these. I saw the end of the Sakurai Presents, so for the Mii costumes, the music, and him talking about the figures, which I'll get into later, but I didn't actually see the rest of the Direct, so I don't know what their moves are or what their colors are. So, Greenra. Again, that's something I'll talk about later. Oh, reverse colors, that makes sense. Is that supposed to be Nia and Dromark? Or is that... I kind of recognize Mythra's color scheme there, or is it like someone in Jin? That seems kind of like some of the Dark Blades, or is that meant to be Malos? I don't know. That's like Master Driver colors, I think? Not really sure what that is. I think that's like General Rex colors, maybe? And then... yeah, I think some of these are actually a reference to earlier Xeno games, I think, because I don't recognize a few of them, and I absolutely adore Xenoblade. Oh, actually, that looks like Momo. Like, that looks a lot like Momo from Xenosaga. I wonder if that's actually a reference. So yeah, some of these might actually be previous Xeno characters. Anyway, as funny as it would be to do reverse colors, I'm just going to go for standard Pyra and Mythra. So, let's go. I am extremely hyped for this because, as you can probably tell, I love Xenoblade 2. Xenoblade 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I like the first game, but I actually like Xenoblade 2 even better. Oh, that's kind of funny. Because Pyra and Mythra, I think, are kind of like a throwback to Zelda and Sheik in a way. Okay, so I got a fairly slow jab. That's a smash. Oh, twirling the sword above the head like that, that's kind of cool. Oh, I don't have like a downward plunge like a lot of other sword fighters, just a downward swipe. My dash attack with Pyra is quite slow, which is interesting. I call upon the power of fire! There we go. Okay, Flame Nova, that kind of twirls a sword around me again. What's my down smash like? Okay, I spin and expose rear end. Okay, then. My up B is basically Ether. It's a little hard to hit with, though. Oh, it is Prominence Revolt, okay. Side B throws the... Oh, that's kind of like one of the Blade specials in the actual game. It'd be kind of funny if I finish with the Boomerang, though. That up B does not have a lot of range on it. And it's like all Zelda items, too, so it's... Uh-oh. The legendary Aegis shall not be defeated by chickens. Sorry, if it seems like I'm doing badly here, I'm just kind of... She doesn't have a lot of range on her attacks. She seems... Oh, but that has a lot of, like, kind of like Ike's... Can I... Yeah, it is Rex! I think they're about to high-five there. That was probably not a nice play, but... Yeah, not much. 0.4 is even better than I was expecting, actually. Samus and Dark Samus, well, I guess you're kind of a decent duo, and maybe this is, like, meant to be, like, Pyra's relationship with Malos, but since we're facing Darkness... Mythra, let's go! In terms of Xenoblade 2 itself, Mythra is my favorite for gameplay, but Pyra is my favorite for story. So yeah, and also... Okay, yeah, so she's a lot faster, I've noticed, so that's really interesting. Oh, and I can... Oh, that's cool. My up B is a projectile. And then I Photon Edge like that. Oh, and I can sort of bounce a little bit like that. I didn't realize I was the one with the screw attack there. Kind of cool that you're using, like... We're seeing the items from their home series. Okay, so there's not as much launch power on that. Okay. Maybe I should switch to Pyra for the finishing blow, which was how they meant for you to use Zelda and Sheik in Melee, but in practice, Sheik was just better at everything because of combos. Yeah. Actually, not really sure how good I am with these two. Well... Actually did it there. Yeah, it was always interesting how the whole balance worked with Zelda and Sheik's forms in that game. So I think I'll start with Mythra this time and then go to Pyra later. Like, again, I feel like that's what you're supposed to do. And just like Zelda and Sheik, I think you can iframe through things with the transformation. Would have been really funny if Peter just suicided there. Okay, that upward momentum helped me, well, her airspeed is very, I don't know how to describe it, it's quite slippery, that's the word, so that's going to take a bit of getting used to. Now, you cannot shield against the Aegis, even though Aegis, like, literally means shield, which I think it's called Holy Grail in Japanese. Oh, that's cool. Hey, Mythra wins! And she's much less enthusiastic about high-fiving Rex afterwards, which makes sense. Yeah, I have seen their victory screens, and a lot of people are annoyed that Mythra doesn't have a victory animation where she slaps Rex into the screen. I admit that would have been really funny. So, I think, like, Mythra has a kind of perfect evade mechanic. Yeah, like that, so... That's interesting. And that side B is not like Sephiroth's, it can't be charged. I love the idea of a projectile up B, that's really interesting. See, even though there are a lot of sword users in Smash, they do play fairly differently from each other. Oh, I thought my down B was an attack, again I'm used to other characters. Double fireball. Oh, we're stamina! I was like, oh, my numbers are really low. Then it was like, oh, numbers being low is actually a bad thing in this. Okay, I respawn as Mythra. Interesting. So you don't, like, default to respawning as a particular character. I should probably be trying to rush down more. It's been since, like, January since I played Smash last because of Sephiroth. And I almost instinctively down B'd thinking it was an attack. Okay, so you can stop the charge early. That's useful. Oh, and the sword. Did I double? Yeah, double KO. Nice. Yeah, so the sword, while it's being held in the air, still does damage. That's okay. This is taking a lot of getting used to, but it's pretty fun, actually. Probably like a fairly difficult character to play. You've got to really learn the strengths of Pyra and Mythra. Pyra's the powerful, slow one, and Mythra's the speedy one. Oh, that didn't, like, spike you or anything. I was kind of hoping that it would meteor you. Uh-oh. Oh, I don't... Yep, I had a feeling that Pyra's recovery was terrible. Mythra's probably better in the air? I don't know. Ah, well, actually, that did launch you. Okay, yeah, you got me before that attack went off. Oh, that's my up tilt. That's interesting. It's more of a forward attack. My down tilt is just a swipe like that. Got to get away from the bomb. Does have a lot of power, that up B, but it's very difficult to hit with, and it's pretty awful for recovery. And of course, Pyra's side B is like bad recovery as well, obviously. You know, maybe them giving all the characters items from their respective series is supposed to be a way to encourage people who played Xenoblade 2 to actually use pouch items. Like, admittedly, I didn't use pouch items very much when I first played either. I can talk a little bit more about that because honestly, I didn't find the battle system in Xenoblade 2 very hard to pick up. Like, and I don't know why there's a lot of people like, oh, it's so slow, it takes 20 minutes to kill anything. Like, even from the start, and I was misunderstanding a lot about the combat and stuff, but I got driver combos and blade combos pretty quickly. I realized how important break was, I realized how important driver combos were, and most of the time, I just felt things were fairly fast-paced with the combat system. I never really had that many issues with it. And in fact, it's kind of interesting because a lot of people just can describe things, like it's a cliche to describe something as simple to learn, hard to master. Well, I always summed up Xenoblade 2's combat as hard to learn, easy to master. Because once I actually got the hang of Xenoblade 2's combat, I thought I was Pyra with the up B, yeah, see, that's the thing, your attacks work totally different in the different forms, but once I got the hang of the combat, like, I could beat most things fairly easily, and I don't think I ever really had much trouble, like, even, it's one of the few games where I had almost zero issues with the post-game with super bosses. I beat most of them pretty easily. In fact, I coincidentally managed to get to level 99, I wasn't even trying to grind to level 99, but just via naturally doing everything that I could do in the post-game. Yeah, I kind of suck with these two. They do take a lot of getting used to, but, like, just by using, you know, playing the post-game normally, I just hit level 99. And I almost never hit the level cap in RPGs, so that was really surprising for me. It was just kind of a funny experience there. Oh, I thought his shield broke, but didn't. Yeah, apologies if I'm kind of... I hope I'd be good with these, because I'm generally okay with sword characters, but these two are quite different from your typical sword characters. Because, like, usually even, like, relatively speedy characters have a lot of good kill options, and Mythra, I've noticed, doesn't really have any except for the standard B. Like that. That has a lot of good power on it. Yeah, recovery with them is really interesting too. Like, I mean, okay, I just realized that from, like, a character standpoint, it kind of makes sense for them to suck at... Well, I mean, not so much being Blades, because Blades, you know, can heal from any injury, but I mean, personality-wise, I'll just say, it makes sense for Pyra and Mythra to suck at recovery. Okay, that actually did KO you, nice. So anyway, like, again, and although the other thing was, I never actually noticed how bad the tutorials were when I first played. That was another thing. Although I do admit, having seen Chugga's LP, I do think they introduced pouch items in a very, very bad way. Because, yeah, the first, I think Mythra jumps higher too, and wow, is she so much faster at running. Because, yeah, the first pouch items they make you get for the tutorial are just pretty bad ones. I always feel like they should have done a better job of balancing the pouch items in a way, because some effects seem to be way better than others, like things like attack, like cooldown recovery and special recovery are so much better, but then most things... I am massively outrunning that black hole, that's really, really cool. One of the few times I've actually got those in recent memory. So yeah, Mythra is really fast, which is pretty cool. I mean, she should be. Complete. I will talk more about that tutorial thing as well, because I have a bit of a story to say in this video that I, maybe not exactly this video, because I might actually split them up. This classic mode's taken quite a while. But I have something that I want to say in Pyra and Mythra's Classic and Spirit board that I will definitely... Oh, that's gonna... No, actually, it wasn't a slam, it was a fly into the background attack. I guess now is where we find out how good Pyra and Mythra's aerials are in terms of damage. Uh-oh, flick attack. Oh, we're using this music. This music's cool. Although, honestly, like, lately, I've actually preferring the other unique monster theme for this game. I mean, people really like this one, and don't get me wrong, this is good. I like You Will Know Our Names better than this, but the second unique monster theme, the one for, the one that's usually played for early game unique monsters, the first few notes are pretty bad, and that's why a lot of people don't, like, really like it, I feel that much. But if you survive long enough to hear the rest of the song, I forget exactly what it's called, whether it's called, like, Those Who like, I feel like some of the songs in the OST have the wrong names, because the one that's called Monster Surprised You, I think, is actually the regular boss theme, and the one that, anyway, hard to explain in the heat of this fight, but I forget exactly what it's called, but, like, the other unique monster boss theme, if you, like, you usually won't live long enough, like, because you'll usually be running or, dying in the first few seconds of it against things like Territorial Rothbard, but if you live long enough to hear the rest of the song, there's a really mean guitar solo in there, and I just think it's actually a really good, underrated song overall. Not a lot of people seem to talk about it very much, because, again, you usually don't get to hear past the first few notes, and again, I don't think the first few notes of that song are very good. It's just a generic, loud guitar riff. Oh. Well, didn't actually die to that. Oh. I said these two have bad recovery, and I'm surviving! No, I'm not. Yeah, using up all my tickets. I'm not really good with these two, and that doesn't bode well for Spirit Board, because I know there are 2 4-star spirits in there. Didn't quite get out in time. Pyra, I need you here. You can hold that, but I don't know if it's actually a charge. And double KO. I would like to see DLC characters fight something that's not the hands, though. Okay, and my up taunt brings in Rex. So, yeah, that was a bit of a train wreck, but I still think these two are quite fun to use. I'll just need to learn them a bit more. Because they seem to have quite exaggerated weaknesses. Pyra's very slow, and Mythra doesn't have a lot of kill options aside from her standard B, at least as far as I can tell. With the fast characters, you usually need to know how to combo with them or rush down, and I can't really do that all that well. It's why I gravitate to characters like Ike more. But anyway, yeah. So, I'm actually kind of, like, I knew there'd be a Xenoblade 2 character in Smash Bros. Like, Sakurai wanted to have Rex, but the game was too far along in development for him to really include Rex at the time. And what music is playing now? Oh yeah, the Gormott theme! I love the Gormott theme so much. I think it's the medley, this one. I love Gormott. I mentally wrote lyrics to it. I love it so much. Yeah, if it plays during, just, I can't sing, so I can't really do the lyrics, but I love the song so much. Anyway, I knew there'd be a Xenoblade 2 character, and I'm totally happy for that, because I really love Xenoblade 2, but honestly, I'm way more glad that it's Pyra and Mythra than Rex. Like, I don't hate Rex as a character. I actually think Rex is pretty good, and I don't like the hate that Rex gets from some people. But I didn't want Rex in Smash. I felt like he would have been a little too generic compared to some of, like, the other sword users. And Pyra and Mythra at least are a little bit unique and have the whole Aegis mechanic of switching forms, although Mythra's very existence is a spoiler. Well, I first played Xenoblade 2, I was lucky enough to not be spoiled on Mythra existing, and that made a certain cutscene so much better. But the funny thing was, I think I've said this in a Smash video already, but I wanted a Xenoblade 2 pick, but I actually wanted Morag. I'm biased because I just really like Morag as a character, I just think she's insanely cool. But also, I just really wanted her... she would have been different to the other sword users as well, by using whip swords. But I just really wanted them to have her so that her taunts could be think you can take me and don't forget me. Knowing Smash, they'd certainly do that. But I get it, she's not really a main, like she is, but she's not like as well known as like Rex, Pyra, Mythra. Like, so while she's a major character, I don't really see her representing the game. So it was kind of a pipe dream, but Morag was my pick. But I'm totally okay with Pyra and Mythra. I really love them being in Smash, but Some people don't, and I had a whole rant prepared about that, and then I realized that rant was exactly the same as the rant that I already gave when Hero got announced. The whole thing about Twitter and about how fans are just so entitled these days, and they feel like they have a personal... Oh, that's a nice big free screen. They feel like they have a personal friendship with the creators just because they retweet a few of their tweets. And because of that, they feel betrayed when they don't get... Oh, that's directly based on, like, your figure, isn't it? You know, they feel betrayed when they're not given what they want. They're like, oh, you know, you didn't give us this. Like, you're not owed anything by game developers. You're not their friends just because you follow them on Twitter. They have their own... Yeah, I just feel like things were so much better back when there was less communication between fans and developers, I suppose. But anyway, next time, we're going to be going after... Next time, I'm gonna cut that out because there's a spoiler spirit in the image for that. Next time, we're gonna be going for the spirit board. But I do have to preface that with a warning. There are some spirits in there that are spoilers for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So, I don't know if you'd exactly want to watch that video. If you haven't played the game and you want to, because... Yeah, it's a game that is probably best experienced unspoiled. It's got a pretty amazing story with a lot of good twists in it. But anyway, spoiler warning out of the way, I will see you next time for Xenoblade 2 Spirit Board.